This is the Design Review Board regular meeting on Monday, October 6, 2014. Everyone is here except for Anthony Draplick is absent and John Leshever is absent. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plenty. Good to go. We don't have to appoint any alternates, so that's good too. All right, we'll start with the first discussion and possible action. Item A, application number 14-40 of Brian Robick, agent for East Point LLC, owner, for a sign permit for East Point at Dorset Crossing on the property located at 55 Dorset Crossing Drive, map H04, block 403, lot 13A-B, zone pad. Is that you?
Hi, I'm Brian Robick. I'm the applicant for
Hi,
East
Brian.
Point Dorset Crossing. How are you?
Good, thanks.
So I'm applying for a permanent sign structure. I have within the approved PAD at East Point Dorset Crossing. I included a landscape plan which shows us the sign location and a sign design which meets the requirement as far as height and width. And I also included a lighting plan with a showing the the light landscape lighting.
Okay. Does anybody have any comments?
This is inside the development, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's on my specific piece. Yes,
Okay.
correct. Yep. Which is now a town road or off the town road.
A couple of comments. One is, and it doesn't make any difference as far as I can tell, but the East Point sign is different than the rest of the signage on the property.
Meaning the design or?
Color, design.
Oh, yeah.
All right?
Mhm.
If I recall properly, the last time I was there, I had some service done. The signage as you enter in the urgent care area is brown and gold leaf, is it not?
I believe so, yes.
And I know that this property is well back, and
Yep.
there's going to be stuff in between. I just noticed it and just want to comment on it.
Okay. I mean, that's our branding color. That's why we chose that color, like if we get on our website.
Well, I was
like
thinking more of the color than,
Yep,
and, blue and white is fine.
yep.
I think it looks nice. It's fine with me. The lights are good.
The other question
any
I
other
have, and
comments?
it's a basically general question that I really want to ask Hiram, because you've got LED lights, LED lighting. And my best recollection is that that's the first time, at least I've seen it on applications. Or should we look at LED lighting as any different than any other lighting relative to our design needs?
I think that it's probably time to look at that for a lot of reasons. One is they're much more energy efficient typically. They can be focused more accurately on signs rather than the whole neighborhood. I think there are probably a lot of different reasons why we should take a look at that and sort of think about, you folks can let us know what you'd like to see in terms of that. We're in the process now of just sending out a proposal for redoing our entire zoning regulations. And we'd like to have the lighting, which is often part of an accurate part of an application, to be updated to be more in keeping with what's going on and what's appropriate. So I think in the future, John, I think near future, I think that it's safe to say that we'd like to include some information about that. It's difficult. I just went through this with Krog a while ago, not to stretch this out, but we do have a few minutes. The comparison of one type of lighting to another is obviously significantly different. It's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
And so you can't talk about exactly apples to apples. We've got to sort of figure out what's the right thing to do in terms of foot candles and LED, or different things, and you folks probably know those standards better than I. But yeah, I think in the near future, we need to take a look at that, yeah.
I'll take a look at the guidelines and see what opportunities there might be in the guidelines, or necessary or recommended or whatever. We'll get together and talk about it if you want.
I don't recall, our guidelines, we just say if it's lit. We can't say whether it's ground lit or
Typically,
post-mounted lit or.
typically, we like to not see the sky lit up if possible, downlighting if possible.
Right.
Although, with some types of LEDs, and especially the smaller ones that can be really focused on the sign, it may be acceptable, for example, to uplight them if we're not lighting up the whole area, or blinding motorists. That's the other thing typically, obviously, want to do, not want to do.
Right.
So, yeah, I think we can take a look at all that stuff and make sure that we're up to date on that.
We've been using more and more LED lights in everything we do, both in the interior and like street lighting and things like that when we can, or these type of lights, just because they're more efficient typically.
Yeah, us too. We're like starting to not even spec the other kind anymore. They're going to be obsolete.
They're
In,
gonna be obsolete.
they're going to be obsolete in a year or two. So you got to really go to LEDs now.
Yep.
It's the only way to go.
Brighter.
They're brighter. They're better. They're more efficient. So, all right.
One of the questions about that had to do with initially, when you first use them, they have a certain brightness, and then they go down in brightness over a period of time. And I guess they're a bit more expensive than conventional lighting, so that's one of the people why they hesitated.
They are a bit more expensive.
But
They
they last
probably,
longer, right?
20% more at least?
Yeah, 20%, but they seem to last.
Last long.
And the return on your energy investment seems to be way better over the first 5 years. So the 20% or whatever the increase is seems to be, I've seen in my projects that owners don't mind spending that extra 20% now because they're getting less utility bills. Their monthly costs are going down. So
Yeah.
The recessed lights, like the LED recessed lights bulb lasts like 8 years or something.
Yeah.
It's like something
Maintenance
ridiculous.
people love
Last time
them.
they last, so.
you don't have to stock those big fluorescent tubes anymore. It's pretty good. All right. So anybody else have any other comments? Be looking for a motion to approve application number 14-40.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
That's fine.
Application 14-40 of Brian Robick, agent for East Point LLC, owner for a signed permit for East Point at Dorset Crossing on a property located at 55 Dorset Crossing Drive, map H04, block 403, lot 13AB, zone PAD, be approved.
Second.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion approved. All right. Next, we have application number 14-42 of Richard J. Higley, Senior, agent for Dino Noble, Inc., owner for a sign permit for Dino Noble on the property located at 660 Hot Meadow Street, map G11, block 132, lot 052, zone I-1. Hi.
Representing Diana Bell. It's okay to stand here?
Sure.
Have fun?
Oh, no, sorry, Hiram wants you to go over there.
Big podium.
It's not
Rich-
scary.
Rich Higley, Diana Bell. Just quick history on the sign. Obviously, the entire business started in 1836. I've been there 29 years. And this particular sign we're looking at actually started based off of a near miss. Our employees put in near misses. It was really due to a pedestrian coming down on a bicycle, not being able to see going north, looking north. So one of our employees suggested that we move the sign. The more I looked at the sign, the more the site manager looked at the sign, we felt that not just move it, why don't we revamp it, bring it up with the times a little bit. When I say add more color, just that sign that's currently there has been there a long time, and I've seen multiple labels over the top of it, so it's time for a change. So the one we're proposing, we've had the stone man obviously propose the brownstone base to kind of match the rest of the buildings on the site. Joe Garrity Canton Sign Shop would construct the actual sign to go into the brownstone base, which would certainly improve the overall looks of the sign as you approach from north or south. At the same time, we're pushing it more closer to our property and away from the rails and trails, away from the entrance, so you can see north and south with a lot better visibility. I don't believe it's going to solve all of our issues with the bicycles, but it will allow our employees to see both ways without being startled by a bicyclist. We have a couple more. We've met with the police chief, the town engineer, and the director of public works. We've got some other ideas. We're going to be putting some more markings on the rails and trails. And we had another one this morning, so this will only help. I don't think it's going to solve the whole problem, but it's certainly going to help.
It'll certainly make it better.
Yes.
So this will be lit from above?
Yes, just like there's a Ensign Bickford Aerospace and Defense right about, I think it's entrance number 2. It's the same style light pointing downward. As Hiram pointed, we don't point upward, we'll point downward. There's 2 proposals. One is to use the exact light we're using in front of building 45, 46 with the EB&D sign, but there's also another one there. If I can go solar with the LEDs, I'll try to do that.
Oh, that's cool.
The only hesitation I have is around $3,000. Which is quite a bit, but we'll give it a shot. I'll see if we can't make it
But
work.
if it's solar, you won't have to, you'll have no electric bill,
Well,
right?
there's, there is the price of digging the trench for the utilities and all that, and there's a cost to do that, so, but I will try to do the solar.
Question, does signage there on that property fit into the unified sign situation?
You know, I'm not sure that it does, John. I think that some of it's been there obviously a very long time. I think that what we try to do on a case-by-case basis, especially with this property, is to try to upgrade it and to make it look better and to bring it more in keeping. So that's what we tried to do here. No question there's some signs on the property that aren't all the same. There's no question. But we think this is a substantial upgrade. And I would say this too, that companies worked closely with Rachel putting together this, not only the report, but the information that she's asked for in terms of bringing it together. So we're really clear about what it's going to be, and I don't think there's any surprises here at all. I think we commend the company in terms of working together with the staff on that.
Well, to me, this is fine. The only thought I had is there are other signs all along Hot Meadow on your property. And we might suggest that as we go forward and upgrade those signs, that there's some unification to them.
Certainly.
Anything else? No? Okay.
I'll move relative to the application. I gotta find it here first. Hold on a minute. Okay. Application 14-42 of Richard J. Higley Sr., agent for Dino Nobel Incorporated, owner, for a sign permit for Dino Nobel on the property located at 660 Hot Meadow Street, map G11, block 132, lot 052, zone I1.
Great.
Design Review Board recommends to, Design Review Board finds this application consistent with the guidelines and recommends the approval by the Zoning Commission.
So moved.
You second? All right, all in favor?
All right.
All right. Excuse me, I have a copy of the Zoning Commission minutes, and in the Zoning Commission minutes tonight, these 2 applications are on the agenda as consent. And have we explained that to the board before, what consent means in this case?
We've been using that terminology, John, for a couple of years now. And what that typically allows the zoning commission to do is to act with regard to approval without discussion, if anybody on the zoning commission has a question about it or wants to pull it off the consent agenda to act on it with a full-blown discussion, we can do that. That happens at their meeting. But if there are no questions and it was unanimous approval of this board, then typically a consent item would go forward that way. Saves time and
Oh, yeah.
less agony for the applicants to go through.
Well, my recollection is, this is the first time I've seen it on their agenda, and doesn't mean it hasn't been there, but this is the first time I'm looking at their agenda. And while I'm talking, if I may, Madam President, Chairman, I have a copy of the minutes of the zoning commission, September the 15th, where the application for the PAD, and I apologize.
Should we let him, can we move his
Did we have a
motion
move?
first?
I
We all said we're all in favor. There was
Yes.
no opposed. So yes, your motion is approved.
Thank you very
Right,
much.
thank you. Good,
Sorry.
we can let him
Sorry
go.
about that.
That's okay.
You're all set.
What I was saying is that we get information on the applications that we send to the zoning commission, either by the public notice in the paper or elsewhere, that our recommendation or the application has been approved by the zoning commission with conditions. And I, for one, have always wanted to have the information as to what those conditions might be. And so I was talking to staff about it just before I came in, because I had a little time. And it's been agreed, at this point at least, that the zoning commission minutes will appear in our packet so that you can review the minutes of an appropriate meeting. Was that okay with you?
Well, I would just say this, it is really hard right now, given one person and the amount of paper that we're pushing through right now. We will do the best we can to try to do that. But I would tell you this, that all the minutes from all the boards and commissions are available. It's 2 clicks.
Yeah, they're right on the website. You can
Right on
just
the
pick any
website.
one you want,
Pretty
look
done.
at it.
So if you
Yeah.
can do that, it would
So I don't-
really save us, because I hate to
I don't need it
promise-
sent.
I hate to promise it and then not do it, by make a mistake or whatever. We have enough challenges with regard to dates and as I said, the volume of trying to keep up with details is incredible. So if it's okay with you, try to get them on the website. That's fine. Like I said, it's 2 clicks. We'll try to remember to send them to you, John, if we certainly possibly can. I'll make a note of it. We'll try to do that the best we can. I will certainly offer that. Okay.
All right. We can review our approval of our own meeting minutes from September 14th. Anybody have any comments on those?
Well, according to my copy of it, you weren't here.
Let's see. Well, I called the meeting to order.
I know that. All right.
Could you please can we add me to the roll call list?
Okay.
Since I called the meeting to order, but I was also
Usually
present.
your person is, no,
Yeah,
you don't
I'm
do
fine,
that, but
I know.
We can do that, sure.
You counted up to 5?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Anything else? Make a
No.
motion to approve the minutes from September 15th, 2014.
So moved.
I moved, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved.
Who seconded that? Who made
He made the
I
motion
seconded.
and he seconded it. Ron seconded it.
All right, thank you.
All right. Anything else, Hiram, you need us for?
Any questions? Anybody have any other questions about anything that no? As I said, there are a number of applications going on. We have finished up the Hartford regulation. We're waiting for somebody to come forward and hopefully make a proposal, talk to a number of different people actually interested.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
That, they're all now talking to the CBRE in Hartford, so we'll see what happens. It's
Very
encouraging,
good.
although until someone shows up with a check, you never know, obviously. So we'll see what happens. We're still in the process of trying to secure some more grant money, actually, to finish the WeTalk study. So we'll continue to work on that as well. We are working, as you know, on the Webster Bank building with the applicant down there, the former Webster Bank building and their residential units behind
Yeah, I
it.
thought they'd be back by now.
They'll be back next meeting.
Oh, okay.
They were going to come tonight, but they really, I said, they wanted to know how they should handle it, and I said, you know, until you show me your plan, I can't really give you a recommendation. So they weren't ready yet. I suspect we'll probably see the plan either the end of this week or beginning of next, but you'll be, at your next meeting, they'll probably be in, and they probably would like to meet jointly with zoning on that for their next.
Is it gonna be an informal presentation again?
You know, it's really gonna depend. If they think that they are close to what the suggestions that have been made, both by this commission and by zoning, they probably will go forward with an application, because they're getting short with regard to time and their financing and so on. If it's an informal, they can do that. They'll just have to come back again, you know, for the formal after that. They would like to get going on it. So I can't tell you for sure yet whether it be an informal or a full application, but I certainly will let you know as soon as I receive it. So, working on a couple of other projects in the center of town as well. I think some of them are not so small. Kind of interesting to see what happens. They're in keeping with the things that were shown with the town center charrette. So we'll see what happens with that. Talking to various architects now that are coming in and being interviewed by various developers. So it could be very interesting winter and spring.
Good.
So we'll see what happens.
Hey, I was driving by the handicap ramp down the street. Have you guys looked at it? I hate to beat this like with a dead horse and bring it up again, but I didn't think that's what we approved, the way they built it.
I think you're right.
That handicap ramp down the street, right? I thought he was gonna go from the back up.
Yeah, I thought it was coming out the front door.
It was
To the
gonna be,
left, go back.
obscured down the side of the building.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it as it was being built. I haven't paid attention to the.
It doesn't look bad. It's tucked nicely in the corner, but it's just,
There were a series of compromises. One was, as you may recall, it took us a very long time to get that process to move forward. And secondly, the building department had issues with the grades that didn't work from bringing it down from the backside. The grades just did not work. There's also that circular staircase on the north end of the building, and to get the ramp around that and then still allow somebody to use that staircase to exit the building presented another problem. So it's actually the building department that made them sort of revise it the way it was. And we thought in terms of safety, that was probably the better call. In terms of what it actually looks like, we thought that the materials were probably pretty nice. And that's, and the other fact is, as I said, we wanted to really move along and get it resolved. So,
yeah, at least he got it out of the parking lot. I mean,
yes, yeah.
and it's wood, it just,
Yeah.
it's not painted or anything.
I'm gonna look at it tonight.
I'm sorry to bring up that bad.
I have another one.
It's not worth going on anyway.
No, I drive that way
I
anyway.
know, I know. I was thinking maybe I was forgetting my memory or something.
I have
was like,
another one
it's-
that's kind of a sore one. Whatever happened to the trailers at the church?
Actually, a couple things. At the last, I think it's the last zoning meeting, the zoning commission talked to the church about that to get a kind of a final plan about that. And they're going to come back in about 6 months. We're working on a final plan now. As you may know or may not know, the church has a whole hierarchy of approvals that they have to go through with regard to who looks at it, who approves it, whether the archbishop approves it or not. We have a brand new archbishop involved, and so for the time being, the buildings that are there, the commission said, okay, you know, we'll allow those to stay there now. They did a pretty decent job sort of integrating them a little bit. But the commission does want to see them moving forward with a final plan.
Right.
It may turn out that I think there are 3 or 4 different alternatives, as I recall. One is that those buildings would be integrated somehow into a more permanent structure or removed and integrated. They could be relocated to the south side of the structure, or it could be a totally different structure entirely. We don't know. We probably won't know for, as I say, 6 months or so exactly what they come up with. So they were pretty careful about how they phrase things because they obviously have a preferred plan in mind themselves, but it has to go through the whole church hierarchy before they come back to us with a permanent plan. So that's kind of where it is at this point in time. So
Probably gonna get money too.
What's the status of the Cumberland Farms thing?
the pool barn,
Yeah.
155 Hop Meadow, that was approved by the zoning commission.
When do they get underway?
Well, actually, their appeal period ends tomorrow. I would imagine as soon as the appeal period runs, they will probably start pulling permits for activities there. So it's an interesting process in that I know that a lot of people were not in favor of it, particularly those people that live nearby it. But there are a substantial amount of improvements to the pool barn building alone. I think the applicant stated he was going to put about $1 million into that one building.
I know, I think that's worth it. That pole barn is going to be such an eyesore.
So they're going to start on that. And some people were concerned that they weren't going to do that. They were going to leave it till later on or do something else with it. But the owner has talked to me a couple times and assured us that they will start on that pretty quickly. So they would like to get started on it right away. First 40 feet of that building will come down. There'll be a patio there in the front anyway. So
That'd be nice.
so we hope it's as nice as the plans look and hopes it moves forward. Tough call, but it did pass. Pretty low gas prices in town too.
Don't bet on that.
Well, I don't know either. But that was some of the discussion actually that took place during the meeting. So we'll see what happens. So, anything else I can do for you?
Nope, I think we're good. We're all set. We can move to adjourn. Nice and easy one.